What is going on, everyone? Got the GoPro Hero 7 Black here to unbox for you. I'm gonna set this thing up and we'll do a review of it, but I was taking a look around the box. I also have the Hero 6 over here, and looking at that box, you can see towards the bottom there are some new features on the Hero 7. One very important one is this hyper smooth feature. You can stabilize your video while you're in 4K 60 frames a second. That right there is enough to make me want to upgrade to this one. So here I am running along on the bike path. On the left, you can see the Hero 7 Black at 4K 30 frames a second with hyper smooth turned on. On the right side is the Hero 6 Black 4K 30 frames a second with stabilization on. And if you look closely, you can see a noticeable difference between both of the cameras. This video right here shows a huge difference. Because the Hero 6 Black on the right side does not offer stabilization at 60 frames a second, and the Hero 7 does offer this at 4K 60 frames a second on the left side, you can see a huge difference here when I'm like running along. So let's go ahead and unbox this GoPro, and then we'll talk about some of these other new features. Before you remove this tab that says remove on it, you want to unscrew this thing and that tab will pop right off. Looks like we get the usual stuff here, some stickers and a product safety instructions guide. You get two mounts with this in the box. Get the battery in this plastic bag right here, and a USB Type-C cable. So most of your previous accessories should be compatible from your old GoPro over to this new one. So this Hero 7 Black is pretty much like the Hero 6, except for it is actually black, which is pretty cool. It also has this logo over here. And I noticed when I was doing the comparison of the 6 and the 7 that this surface over here is smoother on the Hero 7 and it looks a little different. So here's a look at the Hero 6 and the Hero 7 side by side. I don't think a lot has changed. There you can see it looks like the speaker might be looking a little different there. Of course, the texture is definitely a little different, smoother over here on the Hero 7. But I'm just going to continue and go around just so you get a chance to see this. There's the top. Pretty much looks the same. There's a look at the front and there's a look at the back. So just like previous models, you got your shutter button here. This one also has 3 status lights on it. Right here's a status light. There's also one back here built in like to the LCD screen there. And there's another one down here at the bottom. Now when this is done being fully charged, those lights are they light up red and they should turn off when it's fully charged. This also has 3 microphones on it. Right there's a microphone. There's one right there. And there's one over here right there. And on the bottom you have your speaker right there. Got your status screen here in the front, our mode button over here. So under this latch here, if you just press that button, you can slide that out like that. And here we have a USB Type-C port and a micro HDMI port right there. And they do not include a micro HDMI cable with this, so you have to purchase that separately. You also have to purchase your SD card separately. So the way you insert these SD cards is with the label facing inside to the battery compartment area. So you don't want to install this wrong, and that installs right down in here. This will actually support up to, I think it's a 128 gig card. So a little SD card here, you just put it in there, and then if you press it down in, it clicks down in place. Just put the battery in. I guess it's kind of like user preference, but when you're out shopping for these SD cards, you just want to find one that's like a micro SD, micro SD HC, or a micro SD XC. You also want to make sure this has a class 10 or UHS-1 rating. And if you can, buy the ones that have the higher write speed. Like if it says it has a write speed, a read and write speed of like 100 meg, buy the higher read and write speed cards. I'm going to go ahead and walk through the process here of updating this with the app and stuff like that, but first I'm going to go ahead and turn this thing on. See, it blinks, sounds just like the Hero 6. Actually looks pretty much the same. So I want to go in real quick though and look around here where I can find where I can format. I want to format that SD card that I just put in there. So let's find that real quick here. Okay, so the format SD card option is under the reset selection. So I'm going to go ahead and click format SD card. What this does, I know that's probably bright on the screen for you guys, but this will actually wipe off all your videos and pictures. Whenever you buy a brand new SD card and you install it in here, make sure you go through and format it. So I'm just going to go through and see if we need to do any firmware updates on this thing. So I'm going to go ahead and open the GoPro app here and see what happens. It says no camera found. Let's try again manually. So I'm going to go ahead and try manually and see what happens. My camera's on. Let's go in here and do what it's asking. Go to preferences, connections, connect device, GoPro app. So install GoPro app, follow the instructions. We're going to go ahead and continue, and I'm going to try again. So now it's asking me to pair the devices. I'm going to go ahead and click pair. Connection was successful. Jamie's Hero 7 Black. I'm going to go ahead and confirm the new name. So camera update is available, and now we want to go ahead and choose update camera because this is really what you want to do first. Then it's going to ask to join the network. Hero 7 Black version 1.51. We're going to go ahead and click update, accept and continue, and now we're going to go ahead and do this update. So it says here we're all set. This rebooted a couple of times there. And if you want to see the new version of software or firmware that you installed, you can go into your preferences and go to about, and it'll show you that. So we'll go ahead and go through some of the settings here on the touch screen and things like that. First, I want to point something out to you here. I went ahead and did a time warp video for you guys. I'll show you it real quick in 4K wide by 30. So let's go ahead and take a look at that video real quick. It turned out really good. Here it is in 4K wide by 30, and check out the sky. It looks so cool. And it's definitely a feature I'm going to use in the future, as it turned out very smooth and I was really happy with the results. Let's go ahead and finish taking a look at some of the other settings on here. So if you swipe up from the bottom, it says no media. If you press the mode button over here, you can go through your 3 modes, which is video, time lapse, and photo. And I know if you swipe from the left, you get that same menu that comes up, and if you swipe over from the right, you get that same menu. And if you swipe down from the top, you can go in and take a look at the preferences, which we're gonna go through kind of quick here. So there we have connections. It says general, voice control, touch display. You can see the rest of the options there. If you go into about, it'll show you the latest firmware and stuff and the serial number. If you go to reset, this is where you can format your card, reset to all defaults, factory reset your camera. If we go into general, we can see that it has like a beep button control there, default mode, auto power off, LEDs, just all that kinds of stuff in there. And under connections, wireless connections is on, connect device, camera info, Wi-Fi band, you can see it's at 5 gigahertz. You can reset all those connections if you get into some trouble there, you know, not being able to connect to things. Let's check out the voice control feature real quick. GoPro start recording. GoPro stop recording. So that works like instantly. So I know you can now spin this thing around in portrait mode and it will automatically change like that. So the front screen also rotates as you rotate the camera, and I believe you can lock these modes in place. So I think it knows how to self-correct, you know, when you're doing photos and videos and whatnot. So let's finish going through some of these tabs in here. Under touch display, there you have landscape lock, screensaver, brightness. If we come out and we go into regional, got your GPS in there and all this kinds of stuff in here, different video formats and stuff. Under input output, it looks like it says HDMI output, audio input, so you have some features there. Beep volume, default mode, auto power on, auto off. You can turn your LEDs auto on and off. So in here you have your video compression, and you have some options here, H.264 plus HEVC, and it says here that is in place to maximize compatibility with older devices, and HEVC for advanced settings. So HEVC, if you select that one, that is H.265, and that's the new codec that's going to support those high resolutions. And actually the file sizes are supposed to be smaller, and it's supposed to maintain the higher quality at the same time. So that's something that's going to be coming into play more as you use these devices and they increase in their quality and all that stuff. So actually it's something I recommend trying to use, the H.265, but you also need editing software for that supports that and all that stuff. It just gets into a whole nother thing. Here's just a quick look at the Hero 6 and the Hero 7 side by side. Just gonna flip through some settings here, just to give you an idea of like how it looks a little different. Anyway, so if you go into preferences on the 6, over here on the 7, you can see how things are different. So this is what we're used to over here on the 6. If I click through, it seems like it's a little faster over here on Hero 7. You gotta click up there now in order to get into, I actually like this one a little better, the way the Hero 7 is set up. So it does put up a message there of what's compatible and what's not. I don't know, the Hero 7 over here just seems to work a little more smoothly. So that's pretty much all I had for you. Here's the Hero 7 running 4K 60 frames a second with Hypersmooth turned on. As you can see, it turned out really well. The video's nice and smooth, and I'm just cruising along here going under this overpass. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Links will be in the description below. Hit the thumbs up button if you did, and I will see you guys in the next one.